Hi everyone, thank you very much for watching this video. So in this video I will be talking about another way which you can use to solve multiplication problems which involves decimal numbers. And the way that I'm going to be talking about and sharing with you in this video is called the lattice method. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change the screen over to a web browser. So here we are. And right now we're in the website called dictionary.com and we're looking at the definition of the word lattice. So let's look at the first two definitions. Okay, so the first definition says a structure of crossed wooden or metal strips usually arranged to form a diagonal pattern of open spaces between the strips. So it's this thing, okay, made using wooden or metal strips, and they're crossed over. Okay, the strips are crossed over, arranged to form diagonal patterns of open spaces between the strips, the crossed over strips. Okay, and if you look at the second definition, okay, lattice is a window, gate, or the like, so something like that, consisting of such a structure, okay, made using such structure, like the one explained in definition 1. Okay, now I'm going to go back to our previous page. Okay, so lattice method is the way that I'm going to be talking about in this video, and actually, sorry, here is a picture of a lattice window, and you can see, you know, the frames are made using wooden strips in this case. Okay, and you can see that there are open spaces. Okay, there are open spaces between the strips, and you know, you can see the open spaces kind of form a diagonal pattern, right? So that's an example of a lattice, or that's a lattice window that we're looking at in this image. Okay, now I'm just going to get rid of these things here so that I've got more space to work on. And we're going to be looking at this problem here, 1.5 times 0.35 as our example question, and it's the same as the example question we looked at in the previous video. Okay, and the first thing I'm going to do, okay, when I'm trying to solve this is I'm going to be doing this. Okay, now I want you to think about why Mr. Yu just did that. Okay, why did Mr. Yu choose to do that to begin solving this multiplication number sentence? Now maybe you can pause the video here, you know, spend some time to think about the reason Mr. Yu decided to do that, and then you can continue watching the video. Okay, so the reason I decided to do this is so that I can rewrite the number sentence just by using whole numbers. And just like we discussed in the previous video, this number sentence is not the same as this number sentence, right? I did change the question. I did, rewrite the question. However, and I'm pretty sure some of you guys watching this video will agree with me, but you know, for some of us, we feel much more comfortable trying to solve this type of multiplication number sentence, which involves only whole numbers, rather than trying to solve something that looks like this, which has decimal points, and you know, there are decimal numbers involved in it. Okay, so instead of trying to focus on this number sentence first, maybe we can try to focus on this number sentence first, and maybe we can use the product for this multiplication number sentence to figure out the product of this one here. And we're going to use the lattice method to calculate the product of this multiplication number sentence. Okay. Now, before we use the lattice method, we got to do some preparation. We got to set things up so that we can calculate the product using the lattice method. And the preparation part is going to be, kind of different. Okay, it's kind of unique. Lattice method is a unique method. And I hope you find it interesting, looking at how we're going to set things up so that we can use the lattice method. Well, we're going to kind of set things up so we write, 15 times 35. And so far, you might be thinking, well, so far this doesn't look any different to this. We got 15 and then we have the multiplication symbol next to 15, and you might even be assuming that we're just going to continue writing 35 here. Except we're not going to do that. The 3 is actually going to come underneath the multiplication symbol. Now you might be thinking, you might be feeling, wow, that is a bit different. Okay, or that's kind of new. And the 5 goes underneath the 3. So this is how we're going to write the question 15 times 35. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a square like that. Okay. So that 15 times 35 will be written across this side and this side of the square. Okay. Right now we've got one big square. Well, it might not be that big, but it's one square, right? But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to divide the square into, we're going to divide the square into, hold on a sec, into 4 parts. Okay? Into 4 equal parts like that. Okay. Then, and when you draw in these lines, so you're dividing the one square into 4 smaller squares. Imagine that you're with the vertical line here. Okay, you're kind of drawing it between the 1 and the 5 for the number 15. Okay, and you're drawing this horizontal line between 3 and 5 for 35. Okay. Then we're gonna even split the smaller, the small 4 squares in half, and we're going to use diagonal lines like this to divide each of the 4 small squares into half. So now we split 3 squares into half using diagonal lines, and I got to do one more, right? Like that. And now we have finished setting up or preparing to use the last method. Okay. From here, well, what do we do? From here, we're going to multiply each of the digits, okay, with another digit. Okay, from a different number. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's look at one of the digits for 15. Let's look at this one, 1. Okay, and let's pick another digit from the number 35, so from a different number, right? Let's pick 3 then. Okay, well, what is 1 times 3? We're going to multiply those 2 digits. What's 1 times 3? Well, 1 times 3 is 3. So we're going to write in 3 in this part, in the bottom triangle for this square. Okay, and then we're going to write in a 0 into this triangle here, the top triangle, I guess. Okay, we're kind of thinking as if the bottom triangle here is the ones place for the product of 1 and 3, or these 2 digits. Okay, and then the top triangle here is the tens place. Okay, so 1 times 3, or 1 times 3, if you look at it like this, the answer is 3, right? So there are 3 ones and 0 tens. So that's why we write in those numbers like that. Next, shall we look at 1 and 5 then? Okay, so 1 and 5, the answer will go into this box here, right? Because that's where the 1 and the 5 kind of overlap, this section here. Well, how do we write in the answer, the product? Well, 1 times 5 is 5, 5 ones, sorry, and 0 tens, right? So we write in the answer like that. Okay, how about 5 times 3 then? 5 times 3 is 15, which is made up of 5 ones and 1 tens. And last but not least, 5 times 5, this section here, we got to write in a 5 there, because 5 times 5 is 25, which is made up of 5 ones and 2 tens. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be doing some addition. Okay, and the way we add is also a little bit unique because we're going to be adding the numbers which are going to be on the same line. The lines, I'm just going to show you using a highlighter pen now. Okay, so next we're going to be adding the numbers that are on the same line. Okay, so here we only have the number 5, right? So we're adding in a diagonal way, and for this section here, we're only looking at the number 5. 5 is not added with any other number, so we can just write a 5. How about the next diagonal line? Well, we got 3 numbers, 5, 2, and 5. 5, 2, and 5 all added together would be 12, because 2 5s is 10 plus 2 is 12. So we can write the 2 here for 12, and then the tens, okay, the 1 10 will come up to the next line. It will be carried over to the next line. Okay, and 1 plus 1 is 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 0 is still 5, so we write the 5 like that. Okay, and then again this line here we only have the number 0, so we can write the number 0 like that. Okay, now we actually have the answer now to the question 15 times 35, and the way we can look at the answer is we start reading number from here like this L shape here, and if we look at it, it's 0 5 2 5, which is that. Now because it's not a decimal number, this 0 at the beginning, okay, we can, you know, ignore it, right? We can make it just go away. Now what number do we have? We have 525. Okay, and if you remember, or if you watched the previous video, we did check using the calculator what 15 times 35 equals, and it was 525. So hopefully that proves to you, this proves to you that the lattice way is a way which works to find out the product of a multiplication problem. Okay, so now using the lattice method, we found out that 15 times 35 equals 525. Now the original question again was this, right? And if we want to know the product of this original multiplication number sentence, we could use the number 525 to figure that out. And what we could do is, because when we rewrote the problem from this problem to this problem here, we basically multiplied it by 10 times 100, or in other words, by 1,000. So we could do 525 divided by 1,000, right? 525 is the product of 15 times 35, and we can divide that by 1,000, and we should be able to find the product of the original question, which is 1.5 times 0.35. And what do we get if we do 525 divided by 1,000? Well, we get 0.525. And again, we did check on a calculator what 525 divided by 1,000 is in the previous video, and we got 0.525. So in this video I tried to explain how to use the lattice method to find the product of a multiplication problem, and if you do like this way, please use it. If you have any questions about it, I'll be more than happy to talk about it with you later at school. Thank you very much for watching this video.